As you probably already know, ASML is a supplier to TSMC and Intel, and TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor, is a supplier to NVIDIA and AMD. So you can get an idea of the supply chain and work here, and the rising effectiveness of artificial intelligence has a lot of investors interested in the whole artificial intelligence supply chain. And it all arguably starts with ASML and its very high-tech products and services that it provides to companies like Taiwan Semiconductor, which then supplies companies like NVIDIA and AMD. So in this video, I'll go through the latest developments at ASML and really what's going on inside the company so you can get a better understanding of the inner workings of ASML. So let's jump right into it.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So in its latest quarterly update, ASML CEO said that they had a relatively slow start to the first quarter of the year. The semiconductor inventory levels continue to improve, trending towards more healthy levels, but it's still not there yet. Remember, the semiconductor industry is in recovery mode, coming out of the bottoms it reached in 2023. So it's in the early stages of recovery, and that led to a slower start to a first quarter for ASML. So looking at its market segments, we see a similar environment as communicated last quarter, with demand momentum from AI-related applications. So ASML informed investors last quarter that they're seeing strong demand from AI-related applications, and that continued in this quarter. And that's what we've been hearing industry-wide is enterprises and institutions are ramping up their installations of artificial intelligence capabilities, and that's boosting companies throughout the supply chain. Most notably, NVIDIA has been the poster child of the rising effectiveness of AI and investments that have grown as a result of AI, but there have been others in the whole supply chain that have benefited, including, not limited to, NVIDIA, right? TSMC has benefited, Taiwan Semiconductor, I should say, Supermicrocomputer, and others have benefited from this rising demand for artificial intelligence. And the CEO reminding everyone that April 24th, in the general meeting of shareholders, will be his last effective day working at ASML. The CEO is retiring. So in terms of investor perspective, when this has been planned ahead of time, it's not so disruptive to investors. Still, change of leadership is always a murky situation, something to look out for. It increases risks that the new leader is not as effective as the previous leader, although those risks are mitigated or lessened when the transition is planned and it's not a sudden transition. So just something to keep an eye out for ASML stock investors. All right, so now the Executive VP and Chief Business Officer jumping on board to discuss their view on the market segment for 2024 has not changed relative to what we stated last quarter. We expect memory revenue growth this year, primarily driven by technology transition in support of advanced memory technology, but they see lower logic revenue this year relative to last year as customers digest the lithography capacity installed over the past year. So two parts of its business. One part, the memory segment, will grow this year. The logic revenue will continue to recover, but not there yet. Moving on, the Chief Business Officer notes that they shipped their first NXE 3800E this quarter for qualification of the customer. The NXE has the capacity to deliver a significant increase in performance with a productivity of 220 wafer per hour, which is a 37% increase over the previous generation product in its final configuration. That's a big jump in performance, and that's going to increase demand from customers who want to experience that better performance in their production. So those performance increases will deliver better value for their customers, including the cost of ownership, and it'll translate to higher ASPs, average selling prices, and improved margins for ASML. So that's great news for ASML stock investors. Of course, ASML is on the cutting edge of the technology, and it invests significantly in research and development to continue maintaining its lead in this technology. And it's great news again for investors. It reiterates their capability to innovate, and they're not just resting on what they've built over the previous generations. They're continuously improving that, which continuously generates demand from their end customers. And if the performance is better, those end customers will reap greater benefits, which will create an increase in demand industry wide, which will then be good news for ASML. So all of this works in ASML's favor as it continues to improve next generation technology. These productive uses of its technology then creates more demand, because the end case, things like artificial intelligence, large language models, the growth of those types of products and services creates more demand for ASML's technology, which then boosts the industry's capability to deliver next generation technology. And that positive virtuous cycle just feeds on itself. So it's good news that they've developed yet another improvement in their products. So moving on, they talk about their record high NA or 0.55 NA EUV, which they shipped their first system to a customer, and this system is currently under installation. The customer interest for our system is high, as this system will help both our logic and memory customers prepare for high NA insertion into their roadmaps. Now, this system provides final resolution, enabling an almost 3x increase in transistor density at a similar productivity. So this next generation product is even better than the other product we just talked about, in that it increases an 3x density increase. So that's going to make it even more productive than the previous product we just discussed. So these products, these innovations continue to drive demand for ASML, continue to keep it in the leadership position, continue to allow it to generate strong profit margins, because it can sell their products at high profit margins, right? They often talk about their gross profit margin around 50% is excellent for a hardware company. It gives them plenty of margin available to invest in research and development and generate strong profitability even after all of those investments. So I hope this provided a nice overview of what's going on at ASML, the leadership change, the next generation products it just produced and is sending to customers as we speak, and what their demand looks like going forward. Now, recently, I updated my buy recommendation for ASML stock on April 17th. A couple of days ago, I reiterated my buy recommendation for ASML stock. So I still have it rated as a buy. Just updating you. This is my list of stocks, and then my ratings are, my ratings range from buy to a top stock to buy to a sell or a top stock to sell. And so ASML I have rated as a buy. It's not on my list of top stocks to buy, so there are stocks I like better than ASML. Still, I have it rated as a buy when I could have rated it much lower. So there you have it, an overview of what's going on at ASML. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.